Hello folks and welcome to the Vertigo Tea Party. Today we're going to talk about what the hell is going on with my hair. But no, actually what we're going to talk about is the acquisition of Twitch by YouTube, or more specifically the supposed acquisition of Twitch by YouTube. Now this is all speculation right now. There hasn't been any confirmation from either Twitch or YouTube that this is happening. So we are going to kind of title maybe we'll call it, what would happen if Twitch were to be acquired by YouTube. And if you haven't heard, there's a rumor on Variety's website that Twitch has been acquired by YouTube for $1 billion. So that, again, but it hasn't been confirmed. So again, this is all speculation on what would happen if Twitch were to be acquired by YouTube, which I don't think is completely unreal. And I think a few people have kind of whispered that this might happen, down the road. So first off, let's talk about the negatives. The big thing that people are concerned about, myself included, there's a few concerns. The main one is copyright, and more specifically, the way YouTube handles or mishandles copyright. Part of the problem is YouTube's really awful content ID system. It's very bad about flagging things that shouldn't be flagging in the first place. I've heard people have black space and they'll get a copyright flag for some off-the-wall thing. And the other problem is YouTube works under the impression that if someone makes a claim on a video, whether it's through the automated system or because the actual company requested that a video was taken down, they automatically assume that the creator is in the wrong and work forward from there. It's a shoot first and ask questions never system by YouTube. I'm not going to get into details. Long story short, the system is very flawed. Getting a hold of YouTube, if your content has been falsely claimed or falsely taken down, or you've incorrectly gotten a content ID strike, contacting YouTube is incredibly difficult and very, very time consuming. So their entire copyright system is god awful. And what we're afraid of, what a lot of people are afraid of, is that they're going to transition this half-assed system over to Twitch. It has gotten a little bit better, but it's still awful. And again, contacting YouTube is like pulling teeth. It's near impossible to contact YouTube. And even if you do manage to get a hold of them to try to get a strike removed, a lot of times, even if your claim is valid, it doesn't get removed for a variety of reasons. Basically, however they're feeling that day. If you haven't watched it, go check, and I'll put it in the link description. Go watch Total Biscuit's video where he got content ID strikes for both Gary's incident and what was the other game? There was some other Wolf game that basically the content creators or the people who made the game didn't like that he ragged on their game. So they claimed copyright, even though he was using it fair use, totally legal use. YouTube assumed that the person making the claim was correct, removed the content, and gave him a strike on his account without absolutely no checking. So this is the big concern I think that most people have when talking about this potential YouTube and Twitter. It's not going to be a merger. YouTube is just going to buy Twitch. I mean, think about all these videos, or all these people stream music in the background, or you're playing a game with copyrighted music, like, Grand Theft Auto, Saints Row, Guitar Hero, whatever. You get all those copyrighted music. The other problem is that a lot of times this music is legally okay to be played like this, but it still gets matched, it still gets flagged. You might have heard about how the creator of, I forget what game it was. I think it was VVVV. I believe his video on his own channel was taken down due to copyright notices. When the creator of the game has their videos taken down because of this god-awful content ID system, something's horribly broken. And I would hate to see YouTube shoot first, ask questions never attitude and approach move to Twitch, because again, whether it's a semi-legitimate claim or completely false, I'd hate to see for somebody's channel get taken down for days or weeks or even months or even permanently because of some mistake with the copyright claiming system being misused or abused. So That is definitely the number one concern I think that a lot of us have. Another issue that a lot of us are seeing is that if YouTube does purchase Twitch, as they supposedly have done, then there will be no real competition in the online gaming space. Right now, if you want to watch gaming videos, there's two main choices. There's YouTube and then there's Twitch. They hold, and I don't have any specific numbers, but they have the lion's share of the online video content on the web. If YouTube purchases Twitch, they will have everything short of a monopoly for online video gaming content. Now, there's a whole discussion to be had about, oh, well, now there's antitrust possible coming in and blah, blah, blah. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to pretend to know anything about any of that. So I don't really have a comment on that. There's something to be said for competition. One of the reasons that YouTube has really gotten lax lately and frankly is half-assing pretty much everything that they do, like shoving Google Plus down everybody's throats, is they know they don't have competition. They don't have any real competition. Yes, there's Blip TV, there's a few others that I can't even remember the names of, other video streaming sites out there, but who do you know that uses Blip? Who do you know that uses anything but YouTube? Again, YouTube probably has over 90%, at least in North America. Worldwide, it might be different, but I can guarantee it's still going to be very, very high majority of all online video content. So therefore, they don't have to worry about competition. If they own Twitch, they can treat Twitch the same way. Well, we can just kind of do enough to get by, because what are people going to do, right? Anytime competition is eliminated, it's bad for everyone involved except for the company who owns that one company who owns that single space. Another thing is, I kind of mentioned, is we're going to see all kinds of, if the way that YouTube runs YouTube is any indicator, we're going to see a lot of bullshit on Twitch. Unnecessary UI changes, really buggy interface changes that get implemented with no testing, all kinds of technical problems. Again, those of you who just use YouTube to watch, a lot of this you probably don't notice, but as someone who uploads a lot, I very frequently see these additions that get changed, or these additions or changes that just don't flat out work. For example, like a few weeks ago, they changed the way playlists are loaded. Well, it would load up to 100 playlists, and then, or 100 videos in a playlist, and that's it. If there were more videos in that playlist, you couldn't edit that playlist. You couldn't move it around, save it, etc. That was all you had, was the first 100 videos. And that's just a very small example of the type of things I see at least a few times a month, if not weekly, come out of YouTube, where they implement something new, it's half-assed, it's not tested thoroughly, and it doesn't work. And they'll get around to fixing it, maybe in a few days, maybe in a few weeks, just depends. I mean, hell, they had a bug where you could change the thumbnail. If you set a custom thumbnail on a video and then changed it later on, they've had a bug for over a year where it wouldn't update properly. You have to change it to one of the defaults, save it, exit out, go back in, change it to a custom thumbnail, save it again, and then go back out. They just fixed this probably a few weeks ago, and it was a bug for like a year at least. So this is the kind of ho-hum, we'll get to it when we get to it, half-assery that I've come to expect out of YouTube. And I absolutely don't want to see that coming to Twitch, because, again, they don't have to worry about any kind of real competition. Another big thing that is scary to me is the complete destruction of any kind of interaction with Twitch support or the Twitch employees, Twitch, anyone who supports Twitch. YouTube has gone out of their way to make sure that it is super, super difficult to get a hold of anyone that works at YouTube. If you have any kind of problems, even if they're major problems, like, again, invalid copyright strikes, there's someone abusing the Content ID system, things like that, it is near impossible to get a hold of anyone at YouTube. Even if you go to the support forums, the people posting there generally aren't actual Google employees, as far as I get that, or YouTube employees. Most of the people there that have like the special tags next to the name are people who just frequent the forums because they're nice people. I don't doubt there's probably 1 or 2 employees who go through that. But as far as I could tell, there's no actual employees posting, because I've seen multiple times people say, well, I've got this problem with a strike. I need to contact somebody. And people are like, well, just go to the regular channels and pray that it works out for you. That's pretty much what it boils down to contact YouTube. I could absolutely see the same thing happening to Twitch. And again, it goes right back to no competition, where why bother interacting with your users? That's more salary to pay to PR, or not PR people, but customer service people, when you don't have to. Just ignore them and keep doing what you're doing, and people will just keep watching. So that's another thing that I know I personally am very concerned about. Now, that's some of the main negatives. There are some positives that could come up from this. Obviously, YouTube via Google has a lot of money. So money could be very useful for Twitch, in particular to help things like their server architecture. Also, I'm sure that YouTube and Google have people who really, really understand the back-end architecture and can really get that working under heavy loads, which is something that Twitch could really use. Because, and I haven't done Twitch a whole lot lately, but I know for a long time, and I know recently there was a big hubbub about it, where there was like a forced 30-second delay between when you're casting and when the people see what's happening. So there's a 30-second delay, which when you're live streaming, a big part of live streaming is interaction. And there's always going to be some delay, but 30 seconds is a pretty huge delay between what people see and what you see on the screen. So that's a pretty darn big deal. So if they could get this resolved, if they could get more money for more architecture, get more experience, find better ways to do this, and you can lose that manual or that forced restriction and go to like 5-second delays, this would be a big boon to Twitch. Obviously, the chat, again, I haven't done Twitch in a long time, but they had a lot of Twitch chat problems. The chat server going down, being super laggy, things like that. It's another thing that YouTube's both money and, I hate to say it, expertise could come into play to really help them with that. They could also get more money to things like maybe getting more esports to use Twitch, though I don't really know how necessary that is, because Twitch already does the vast majority of esports type broadcasting anyway, I think. So I don't even know how really much that would really help. Another thing we maybe could see would be better things like better YouTube and Twitch integration. Right now, Twitch already has some pretty darn good Twitch has some good YouTube integration, where, like, for example, I record I do a 1-hour stream. I can actually go in, cut that stream up into 3 20-minute chunks, and then export it to YouTube. Pretty nice. We could see some more tools like that come out, thanks to Twitch and YouTube kind of being more intermingled. We could see a little easier to export videos and kind of tie the two together. Even possibly build in streaming into your YouTube channel. Many of you know YouTube they were working on having their own streaming. It was 100% garbage. It was just total junk, which is probably why they are supposedly considering buying Twitch, because their streaming was god awful. So that would be really neat for me to say, have it just tied into my YouTube channel, that you just click a button on somewhere on my channel and it opens up my stream in YouTube. That'd be pretty cool. I would like stuff like that. You could probably also see other things like better integration with the consoles. Even though it's already integrated pretty good, maybe there's some possible things that they could do down that route, or go that route. So I mean, stuff like that could be pretty cool. So it's not all bad if it happens, but I'm still very, very concerned. You may ask, why would YouTube even consider purchasing Twitch? And I think there's a few main possibilities, in my opinion, that could have drove this. First of all, game streaming is becoming very popular very, very quickly. Twitch accounts for 1.35% of all downstream bandwidth in North America. It makes it one of the top 15 websites in North America as far as streaming goes. And that's up from 0.46% last fall. And Twitch has 45 million monthly users. That is nothing to sneeze at. Meanwhile, YouTube dropped from 18.6% to 13.2%. That's not to say that I don't think YouTube is eventually just going to drop off the map, but they're losing eyeballs, they're losing people watching time, and I think they would like to make it up somewhere. And like I say, online streaming is becoming a really big thing, and for a lot of people, that's what they're watching instead of TV. I know I watch a lot of YouTube and Twitch instead of TV. I haven't had a cable service in years, and most of my watching is YouTube and Twitch. And I think a lot of people are moving that way, especially young people. I've heard it commented several times how young children today, instead of Saturday morning cartoons, it's Saturday morning Twitch or Saturday morning YouTube. And I would not be surprised at all to see this trend continue. And I think YouTube kind of wants to be on the front of that. Another big thing kind of tied to that is, and it's tied to something we talked about earlier, where Twitch doesn't really have any serious competition. Yes, there's Ustream. Yes, there's Hitbox. But Hitbox, I checked right before I started recording this video. The top 3 channels combined were just over 100 viewers. In comparison, I checked the one top channel for Twitch. The top channel on Twitch right now has 14.5 thousand viewers on just the top channel. So Hitbox is very, very tiny when it comes to comparing it to Twitch. And streaming is one of those things that it's very hard to migrate from. So even if some of your top people who are on Twitch said, you know what, I hate this YouTube merger, I hate this YouTube acquisition, I'm going to move somewhere else. I'm going to move to Hitbox. I'm going to move to Ustream. There's a few problems with that. One, a lot of people won't move. Even if they're fans of that. Obviously, the hardcore fans are going to move. Let's just say Man vs. Game, because it's somebody that I really enjoy watching, and I think a lot of people who watch Twitch are at least familiar with Man vs. Game. So let's say he decided, I'm going to move to Hitbox. First problem, a lot of people might not move with him. He might, casually watch him, maybe not be the hardcore fans, whatever. They don't want to have to log in and create a whole new user for Hitbox. And so he might lose a significant amount of his viewer base because of that. Another problem is, let's say that let's just say there was a large migration from Twitch to Hitbox. Hitbox is not technically going to be ready for all these viewers. You've got to know, there's no way right now that Hitbox is running enough hardware and at least on an architecture that could support anywhere near the kind of traffic that Twitch is getting. So if you have a bunch of people suddenly move over to Hitbox, remember all those problems we've had with Twitch in the past of channels just dropping off, very laggy, the chat just keeps dying over and over again. I mean, yes, Twitch has problems now, but magnify that times 10 at least. This is the same thing that's going to happen to Hitbox. And then, you're going to run into this issue with the people who did fall over. A lot of them might say, you know what? F this. I'm tired of dealing with this. I just want to watch some content. I'm going to switch back over to Twitch. So there's a lot of problems with switching off. And I think YouTube probably knows that. They know it's not something like a search engine where if I get tired of Google's crap, I can switch to Bing or Yahoo or whatever like that. There's nothing. I'm not vested in a search engine. Switching from something like YouTube to Blip TV, or switching from Twitch to Hitbox or Ustream or whatever it is going to be a bit more of an investment insofar as time, commitment, and there's other things, like I say, the technical issues that are almost certainly going to hit Hitbox if they grow. And Hitbox is still in beta as well. So I think they know that switching away from something like Twitch, which is already, they're ingrained enough that switching is definitely not something that's going to happen overnight. If it could, well, I'm not going to say it couldn't happen. Anything can happen as far as a switch. But it would be something that is unlikely to happen, at least anytime in the near future. And if it's something they saw happening, they could react to it. And like to say, if there were some features that the people really wanted, and they ignored it because they were the top dog, and people slowly were switching over to Hitbox or whatever, they could go, oh, hey guys, look at this cool new feature we implemented, and bam, everybody comes back. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people come back. So I think that's two pretty big reasons why Twitch would be a good investment. Because like I say, it's that industry is growing, and I think YouTube/Google sees that, and they want in on it. You look at YouTube, some of the top channel, well, the number one top channel on YouTube is a gaming channel. Several of the top channels on YouTube are gaming related. So YouTube is no fool, and they know that gaming is a big, if nothing else, a big viewer driver for their content and for this online gaming content, which obviously games are a big motivation for online gaming content, but you know what I mean. I'm sure they've seen its growth, and they've seen Twitch struggle with its own growth. And I think they see an opportunity to jump in, get in on the forefront. They don't have to build the system up from themselves. They've tried it. They've obviously not good at it. They said, F it, let's just buy somebody else who can. Supposedly, they're doing that. So that's my take on it. Overall, I think it would be awful. With everything, I try to be, my initial reaction was table flip. But after I relaxed and put my table back where it was supposed to be, I'm still 100% against it. Make no mistake. If it came down to me and they're like, all right, Vertigo Tea Party, it's all on you. What do you say? Without question, I would say no, God, no, no. But I am also going to try to be open and positive about the possible changes that could come to Twitch. Because it's live streaming, maybe we don't have to deal with the bullshit that is the content ID or any kind of variation of it. I have a hard time believing that's going to be the case, but I am very concerned that it could cause as big a problem or close to as big of a problem on Twitch as it has caused so far with YouTube, where game developers are getting their own content taken down because of invalid content ID claims. So that's what I really worry about. And that worries me more because I know, and maybe this is cynical, but I know that even if it happens, even if they implemented their god-awful content ID system on the Twitch, that moving somewhere else to like Hitbox or Ustream probably isn't going to be viable. People get used to a certain service or a certain site, and they don't want to move. And if there's any problems moving over, they're immediately going to be like, oh, well, this site is stupid. I'm going back to the site that I used before. So those two things compound to really make me apprehensive, to say the least, about this possible acquisition of Twitch. Because even if it happens, even if all the terrible things happen, your general user isn't going to switch. And if your users don't switch from Twitch, I was looking for an excuse to use that. If your general users don't switch from Twitch, then you will go back. You, the content creator, will go back, because this person who in the Man vs. Game is the guy who has a 14.5k current users when I looked. If he moves over to Hitbox and he's now only pulling 7k, he's probably going to go back to Twitch. And I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't blame him at all, because this is, whether or not you agree with doing it as a job is irrelevant. That is his job, and you wouldn't take a 50% pay cut for some minor thing at your work. So I would not blame him or anyone like him, for trying it and then being like, oh, you know what? I'm not losing half my livelihood or half of my income just to switch to this other thing, to stick it to the man, or because I had to deal with a few extra headaches when I stream. So those are my concerns about the whole Twitch YouTube thing. And again, it's speculative right now. It's just supposedly going on. The Washington, I think it was either the New York Post or the Washington Times. I think it was Washington Times, said that no, the deal hasn't went through. They're still in early negotiations. But I mean, I definitely get the impression it's being talked about. It's something I've thought, is a possibility. I didn't think it would be this soon. But given that YouTube was also trying to create their own streaming service, I thought it was a possibility. Because the same thing happened. Remember Google Video, where they were trying, before they bought YouTube, where they had their own video site and it sucked? And they were just like, screw it, let's just buy YouTube. Same deal here. They tried their own streaming. It was total trash. and they're like, F it, let's just buy people who know. And frankly, that's the smart thing. I mean, Twitch knows what they're doing, obviously. Yes, they have technical problems, and they're not perfect, but they've got experience in it, and they've obviously built a good system. Not perfect, but they built a good system, and it's working, so we've got tons of money. Let's just buy it. So I can see where they're coming from, but given YouTube's very piss poor track record of running, well, YouTube, I'm not optimistic about it. But, you know, we'll see. I am not ready to run screaming into the streets of Twitter just yet. I'm not pleased with it, but we'll see. Anyway, thanks you guys for watching. Leave comments. Let me know what you think about this merger/acquisition. I don't know why I keep saying merger. It definitely would be an acquisition. You don't really merger with a company that's way bigger than you. But yeah, and follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you next time.